Let's ramble. Um, hmm. What I want to talk about this morning. How do I phrase this? Hmm. I want to talk about wrapping, rapping. I want to talk about wrapping the mind in, in something, around something, or putting some sort of form around your mind, just as you would put wrapping paper around a present. Um, Ideologies, beliefs, culture, these are things you wrap your mind there. You you wrap around your mind. These are all things you wrap around your mind. Um, First, I think we should distinguish the mind itself and its just formless state. It's rather interesting, paradoxal, paradoxical. There's a paradox. It has paradoxes. Yeah, it can go many ways. It can be hypocritical in moments, um, and contradict itself. But I think what really has fascinated me in the last, let's say, couple of years, year of exploration of the mind, I would say, and the creative side of the world, the formless, the edge, I like to call it. Um, is that at the end of the day, we we wrap our minds around and in these beliefs where I don't even think we believe them ourselves. To name something, or to give an example, politics, obviously, sanctioned religion. Um, but I think the main thing that is kind of beyond that is this this belief that there is an end. This ideology or reasoning with the mind that kind of always has an end goal. That's something I've been, I guess, struggling with, but also just kind of like figuring out is to not have. It's not to not have goals, but to not reach an end state of comfortability or a state of like a fixed point of view where that point of view is my end all be all. And I think a lot of people in this world are so fixated on their contentment with their living situation where getting uncomfortable is really really fucking hard because so many of these forms and so many things that are wrapped around our minds nowadays forces you to subscribe to this notion of reasoning with your existence and having a final form to your existence, to your individuality, a final form to your you waking up. You wake up and there's a form you're born into. There's There's a belief you're waking into. There's a notion that you've already kind of convinced yourself of. Because in the morning when you wake up, it becomes a moment of the choice between habit and novelty. I don't think a lot of us, even me at times, um, are able to break out of habit easily, or even able to recognize habits, or even we're not able to unreason with the absurdity of our life. Reading a book that is completely bonkers, like completely fantasy based. There's no realism, or watching a show like that, or entertaining this abstract form of life. Sorry. I think a lot of people are, live in this fear of what's on the outside. What's on the outside of my box of habits, my life of habits. And what is his name? Frank Herbert says, fear is the mind killer. And fear, the cats are going crazy. And fear kind of creates restrictions, and restrictions also create fear. There's in these forms of ideology and belief systems comes the fear and the restrictions. It always are attached to fear and restrictions in these systems of belief. I always think I end up sounding crazy in these, and I probably do to some, but this is this is what I'm trying to get at, is when you think about how you sound, about how you're coming across to someone, instead of just doing it in a natural way to you, that creates these forms and belief systems, the fear, the restrictions within yourself. I mean, we could throw a word and kind of, put a form to it, which is the matrix inside you, operates amongst these belief systems and ideologies, where every time you express yourself, you immediately enter the internal library, the internal matrix within you, to sort of ask what I should do, or what's culturally accepted in this moment. And I think a lot of people live in that sort of form, or that programming of expression, where their expression is just boxed and caged in, and they're always thinking about how they're expressing themselves instead of just expressing themselves. And one thing about art and creativity and expression that I found is it's not gonna just, you know what I mean? You're not gonna fucking paint the Mona Lisa right then and there. You're not gonna fucking build the Big Ben Tower in wherever it is. I forget, in England or something, I think. You're not gonna, build the Eiffel Tower in a second, in one day. You're not gonna create these great ideas or these great things in them just now. You're gonna have to work through them. You're gonna have to work through your mental matrix. Excuse me. Oh. Oh, I hate when you're burping and it just feels inside you. Or like you can feel your body like almost, not puke, but like you can feel the burp coming and it's not a loud burp and it just happens inside you. It's weird. Um, but nothing's going to get created in one day. I mean, sure, things can be created one day, but there's no end. There's no end to the limitless possibilities of creation, of expression, of your mind. And that can be very dangerous, but it can also be very freeing. And I say dangerous because someone who is operating without any sort of philosophy, maybe a mentor, or who has never had anyone to teach them, um, to teach them, to show them the ropes, the reins. Not necessarily. This is what I hated about school is that these teachers are there to put you in a box, to make you work in a system, work in a way. When I got out of that sort of mindset of, or that form, that belief system, that ideology of putting my knowledge and intelligence in a form and then working through that form or belief system or ideology constantly for the rest of my life. When I got out of that, it was a lot of just like it was a dangerous level of freedom, if that makes sense. It was a dangerous level of like like I can do anything. I can do anything. I don't need to do this or to think that or to have this. I just need to survive. That's the first fucking thing. It's the first rule of a revolutionary. A rebel is in order to fucking do anything, you must survive. That's the first fucking rule. Because if you aren't alive and you aren't able to express yourself, you're not going to be able to build anything. You're not going to be able to have an impact. And I think a lot of us are immediately turned off by the work that goes into becoming, the work that goes into becoming yourself within yourself or finding yourself within yourself, because it scares people. It scares people a lot. I mean, I hear so many fucking cops right now. It's hilarious. It's crazy. Maybe I don't know. Nothing outside. I find that synchronistic in a way. I'm hitting a point. Hmm. Isn't I think there's a quote that I remember hearing in a movie. It's like I think it might be. I don't think it's Hoosiers, but it's like Coach Carter maybe, where it's like you can like definitely look this up, but it's something. It's like we do not fear that we are inadequate. We fear that we are beyond our comprehension or beyond our current capabilities. I was playing guitar yesterday and I hit like I was recording it, sending it to my buddy, um, and I was listening back and I hit like a moment. I had a little bit of a flow state where I was like, oh my god, that's me. I figured I played that one, and it amazes me sometimes figuring out the things I'm capable of or can be capable of. And if you want to get a little farther down the rabbit hole, you have to shed this identity that you were given, you were born into, to sort of realize that we are all operating from the same source. It's not that we're all the same. We're very individual in our choices and our ideas and our creative expression. But that same source of energy, consciousness, is in everyone. And you have to really, really shed yourself. And the yourself I'm talking about is to shed the skin that you were born into, to shed this form, to shed this identity you were born into and that you were shaped into. And that is scary. That is the fear, is like releasing what you thought you were. I've been kind of dealing with I guess shame, like shaming myself or feeling guilty for doing things or exploring things about me that I've said to people and said to myself that I should never do that. It's bad for you. Um, and I still have those, not beliefs, but I still have those things in me, those ideas in me. But I remember Terrence McKenna. That's hilarious. Terrence McKenna quote where, what is it? I just had it. Oh my god! I just lost it. Hold on. Oh, if you're not contradicting yourself in your point of view, or if you're not sometimes contradicting yourself, your point of view is not nearly complex enough. And that's something I really love, is when you're able to be wrong and not get attached to being wrong. And wrong in the sense of you're able to not fit the mold or expectations of people. Or, maybe you cite something and you're wrong, You're wrong in someone else's eyes. But it's really just are you able to take criticism? Are you able to take other points of views and not shed them off your back or let them flow off your back like water, but are you able to process them and then kind of divide the information to your perspective or your perception? Is there an ability to not be attached to your inner beliefs, your beliefs about, I don't want to say their beliefs, I want to say their philosophies, your inner philosophy, your inner monologue? Are you able to process these things without getting entangled in them? Because that's always interesting. That's something, it's when you'll have a lot of people, so many people who are not awake, if you will, to generalize, where they express a thought, but the thought is a complaint or the expression is like a fishing line going out in the water, and other people are the fish trying to survive. But these fishers for people, they fish for these people to to take the bait, to get entangled or to get hooked onto their mind and beliefs, and to sort of nurture this other person's, the fisher in this metaphor, to nurture the fisher in their expression, in their what they've complained about, what they've baited the hook with. Are you able to shed the water off your back? Are you able to shed the skin that you were born into? Are you able to shed the identity? I can't. I'm gonna keep it short. Peace out.